Hello. So we're going to talk about creating a new event for Data Saturdays using the new process that we've got. So Data Saturdays, for people who aren't aware, is a website, as you can see on the screen, that enables event organizers to have a web presence. So if we have a look, we can see that we've got an event coming up in Haiti. Got some information about it. Register now. We've got the rooms, the schedules pre-filled from Sessionize API. And we wanted sponsors. We could have sponsors. And we've got a speaker wall there. So all the wonderful speakers are available. And a contact detail. And this has been created in our GitHub repository for the Haiti event. But this was always really manual. So it was all about cutting and pasting and making sure we got stuff right. So I wanted to do it better. So this is how we can do it better. What you need to do is you need to go to GitHub, sign up for an account. It's free. And then search for Data Saturdays. So we'll search all of GitHub. And it's going to say we can't find anybody because I can't spell. There we go. Data Saturdays. Let's go to this repository. Here is the repository. And the first thing that you will need to do is to click on this fork button here. So let's make that a little bit more obvious. Here, we've got a fork button. And this one is the one that you want to press. Go for that. And click on this. And it's going to say, where should we fork Data Saturdays? And you want to pick your own user. So we'll click SQL DBA with a beard. And it's just going to fizz for a few seconds, fizz around. And then, ta-da! As we can see here, our GitHub user account, we've got a fork, and it tells us forked from SQL Collaborative Data Saturdays. Once you've done that, you can now work on this code as much as you like. First thing you want to do is to bring it down onto your machine so that you can copy it. So you're going to press this code button and you're going to copy this link. Now what I'm going to do, just to show you the new process, because it's not actually in the Data Saturdays repository just quite yet, is I'm going to do it from my own repository that I set up so you can see what happens. Called it DS Dynamic. So we're going to clone this repository by pressing this button here. And then we're going to open Visual Studio Code. Now it's important that in Visual Studio Code you have the YAML extension, this one from Red Hat installed. This will all make sense in a minute. Type in YAML. If you haven't got it, there'll be a little blue box there that'll say install. Click on the install and you will have the extension. So in Visual Studio Code, what we do is we always use Control, Shift, and P to open up our command pipe. And that's going to enable us to find any commands we want. And we will then type clone. The first thing that'll come up is Git Clone. Now, if you don't see this, then you'll need to install Git. Just search in a browser for Git download and it'll take you to the right page. We press Git Clone and we can paste in the URL that we copied. Then when we press enter, it says, where would you like me to put this repository on your machine? I'm going to put it somewhere a bit weird because I've already got a copy of this on my machine. You just pick a directory and that will be where your repository gets loaded. And then down at the bottom, down here, it's going to say, would you like to open the cloned repository? So yes, please. Yes, I'd love to do that. That would be awesome. Thank you for being so helpful, Visual Studio Code. And it's going to look just like this. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to see what our next number is going to be. So we're going to have a look in the data directory and the events directory and see how many events there are. And the latest one is number 14, so ours will be number 15. Before we start, we need to create a branch for our changes. Now, this is good practice and it'll help you if you make any mistakes because you can throw that branch away and go back to your main branch. We'll click on the word main here and we'll create a new branch called Awesome Beard Event. Now that we've done that, down at the bottom here it says change to our new branch. Now we can start to add some code. So the first piece of code we're going to add is a new file in the posts directory. Now right click and new file. And this file has a particular naming convention that's important. So we're going to have 2021, the year, and then the month of our events, and then the date of our event, separated by dashes, and then data Saturday, and our number is 0050.md markdown. And in that file, we're going to place some code, and we get that code from the wiki on the data Saturdays page. It's not there right yet. I'm going to put it there after this video. And I'm going to have the create the markdown, and I'm going to copy this piece of code here. It's important to copy the 3 dashes. We'll paste that in. Now we just need to fill in the blanks. So the blanks are, what is the name of our event? So we're data Saturday 15, and we'll call it beard for the sake of a silly name. And then we need to put our number on the end here. So I'm going to put 15 there. So our data says data Saturday and our event number 0015 in this case. I'm going to save that file and close it. Next, we need to create our data file. So this one lives in the _data directory _events, and it's called data Saturday, properly spelt, data Saturday 0015.yaml. I'm going to press enter, and now we've got an empty YAML file. In the wiki, we have a data file page, and we're going to copy all of this code, and then we're going to paste it into this YAML file. And it has all the help embedded in it, so you can see what to do. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a name. So I'm going to have data Saturday, it's number 15, and call it Awesome Beard. And we're going to put the date. So the date of the event is 2021, 12/22 and pop quiz. Gold star for anybody who knows why that date is really important. And then I don't want to start at 8 a.m. I'm going to start at 9 a.m. And we can put our time zone here as well, just by referencing UTC. Inside these double quotes, we put our description. So very important that inside our double quotes, we have our description. And this is probably the bit where you're going to have to think about it. So this is the description for my awesome big event. It takes place on 22nd December 2021. Should we spell December correctly as well? Yeah. It will be held at this address. And we can carry on putting as much information in here. If we want new lines, we need to make sure that we use some HTML. So we need to have our break added. You can use images. Please don't use scripts in here. If you're going to have double quotes because you're using HTML inside here, you need to escape them with a backslash. Now we need our registration URL. So where do we want our attendees to go to register for our event? So we'll just put it in blog.robtool.com for the moment. The next bit of data we have is our rooms. So this is for virtual events. If you have numerous tracks, then you can put in the name and a URL for those. But right now we don't have an event, so we don't need those. So we can just delete that. And we'll put it back in later when we need it. Now we're going to have our schedule URL. Again, until we've got our call for speakers finished and we've chosen our sessions, we haven't actually got a schedule that we can publish. And all of that's done in Sessionize. So we'll just delete that for now. If you have some sponsors, you can add in a link for your sponsor and an image. It could be a remote image or it could be held in this repository. If it's held in this repository, please make sure that it lives in the assets, image, events directory, in a directory with the number of your event. I haven't got any sponsors, so I'm just going to delete that for now. The speaker list URL has two important use cases. In the beginning, it's probably your Sessionize URL. So it'll be something like sessionize.com/ I'll just put my speaker one there. And that will be where speakers can go to register. Once you have chosen your sessions, then you can change this to your speaker wall URL through the Sessionize API and paste that here. And then that will be displaying your speaker wall. Our call for speakers at the moment is true. Create a new event. Of course, it's going to be true. So we're going to put that in as true. And then later on, we'll change that to false. If you want to have volunteers and you have an email address or a link that you wish them to use to contact you, then you can put in something like this. So we've got helpers@sqlbits.com. That's the email address for if you wish to go and help and volunteer for sqlbits.com. But we need to make sure that we have mail to in front of it. If it's a link to a Microsoft form or something, then you can just put the link in there. And then you put your organizers. So I'm going to put me in as there. I'm going to put my name and my Twitter account, TJ with Beard, and a contact email or not a contact email. So we won't have a contact email in this case. And we'll save that file. Now over here we can see we've got 2 changes. So we need to commit those changes. Put an event, put a message about our event. So our commit message is normally, why have we made this change? It's so that the new awesome big event gets published. And then we're going to save that commit message. And now that that commit message has been saved, we can now push our changes to our local repository. If we go and look at GitHub in our own local repository, you're going to see it's going to give us, you've made a change to this new branch, let's do a pull request. And it will do a pull request back to the Data Saturdays GitHub account. So that a new awesome Beard event is published. Please check my work and merge so that we can announce our new event. And we'll create a pull request. Once that's happened, it's going to be there sat waiting for one of the admins of the Data Saturdays to come and have a look at it, to check everything is okay, and then press the merge. So what I am going to do, just to show you, is I am going to check, I'm going to show you the website that gets built as it looks right now. So this is what it looks like right now. We have 11 entries. So we do have one entry here, Data Saturday number 14, when I was testing this out. But we don't have Data Saturday 15. It's not here yet. So I'm going to merge this pull request. So I'm an admin. I'm going to say, yes, I'm happy with this. I'm going to merge, confirm. And as soon as my pull request gets merged, what happens is that a build will automatically take place. And if I'm quick enough, there we go. You can see we've got a yellow dot. Our build is in progress. So right now it's rebuilding the website with our new changes on. We refresh that. We've now got a green tick. So with the green tick, I can now click on details. My page has been published. Now we've just looked at it, so we might just have to clear the cache like this. We click on events, showing 1 of 12. So now we should have number 15. And there is number 15 magically created. If we click on this, you can see this is the web page that gets created. We've got the description that we put in, a register now button. We haven't got any rooms yet, but we still have that code there. The schedule has not been announced. If you wish to submit your session, please go to the speakers. And there's a submit your session button, which is going to take us to our URL that we put in for our speakers. It's important to make sure we put HTTP in front of that, which I don't think I did here. Volunteers are important. If you wish to ensure your volunteers, you could press the button here and it is going to open up an email to helpers@sqlbits.com. And then volunteers, contact, here's our contact details so we can make sure that all works. So excellent, we've got our event, we can now go gather some information. But what happens next as we go forward? Well, maybe once our event is, let's use the right one. Rob, let's use that one instead. There we go. Once our event has taken place, or is call for speakers has ended, we might want to publish our schedule and show our speaker wall. So we would change in our own data file. We would change call for speakers true to call for speakers false. And then we'd go to Sessionize and we would grab the API URL. You can use the Sessionize help pages to show this. I'm just going to grab one from a different event. Let's try Guatemala. And we're going to take the Sessionize URL and put it in here as our speaker list. It'll look something like that. This number will be different for yours and the view of speakers. And then we're going to grab our schedule URL. So our schedule URL, again, you're going to get that one from Sessionize, and it'll look something like this. And maybe by now we've got some sponsors. So if we had a look here, maybe we picked up a couple of sponsors. So we could add those in like this. So we've got a link, and then we've got a link to the image that they're using, and maybe different heights. What else we've got? We don't need this anymore, so we could take away our volunteer request. Maybe we're happy we've got enough volunteers, and then we can say we'll change the description and say thank you. Please take a look at our fantastic schedule, and we'll save this. I'll put commit message in so that our schedule and speaker wall is displayed. And then we will push our changes back up to GitHub. And when we go back to GitHub, we're going to see the same process again. We're going to see that we have, go on, where are you? There we go. We're going to see that we have we pushed? We have pushed. There we go. This branch is one commit ahead. So we're going to do a pull request. That's a bit different because I'm inside the same repository. So we'll do a pull request, got a title, put some information in here, create our pull request. And again, I'm just going to merge this. We'll confirm the merge. And the same thing happens. We're now going to build our website again. So we're just waiting for the magic to happen. There we go. We've got a little yellow dot. That means the build is progressing. Start doing a build of the website. It uses something called Jekyll, which I don't really understand, but does do some magic. Then we get a green tick. So it takes a matter of a minute to do. And then we go back to our event site, and we can see that we've still got everything the same. We'll go and find our event, and this time again, because we're doing all this very quickly, we needed to just refresh to get our cache. But you can see now it says, please take a look at our fantastic schedule, because we've updated our description, and look at our schedule. magically created using Sessionize. And the beautiful thing about this is that you can control your schedule within Sessionize. So you can move sessions around as you see fit. Maybe a speaker gets ill and isn't available, and you have to put a new speaker in. As you move these in Sessionize and save them, it automatically changes on your website. Something we did with the PowerShell Conference Europe, and it was absolutely fantastic. As speakers committed to be at the event and agreed that they were going to be there, we could just tick a button and they would just magically appear on the schedule. It's absolutely awful. All of the information. So there's our schedule. We've added some sponsors. So we've got links to our sponsors and some images. And we've got our speaker list. This is one particular view of the speaker list that you can put up just like this. You see a lot of information about wonderful people like Alexander, loves Star Wars. You can choose to view this in a different way. If we look at past events and look at Pordenone, you can see that their schedule is the same, but their speaker wall looked differently. So you could click on Mladen and it's going to give you the information about Mladen. It's a display. So that is how your event will work using Data Saturdays. You just fill in this data file, push up a change with a commit, create a pull request, magic happens in the background. Of course, lots of documentation. If you go to the Wiki at the Data Saturdays GitHub Repository, or if you look at the associated blog post with this video, you can see how to do this. And we are only but a Twitter message away if you get stuck and you need some help. Thank you.